Oh, g'day there, folks. How are we today? Yeah, okay, so it's a bit of a catchy title, isn't it? Would I retire in Thailand today? Okay, well, that's going to have some consideration, but I respect everybody's time out there, and a 20-minute video is a 20-minute video, and that's where the YouTube system sort of builds your channel, and the TikTok thing, you need like 1,000 videos to make anything go funny. But yeah, I'll give you this out. Yeah, look, I would. But I'll give you the reasons why. Yeah, I love the place. That's it. That's the bottom line. I love Thailand. So I am very much biased for anything I'm going to say from here on in. But we got to sit down and think about, why I make those decisions. And don't forget, I made this decision sort of somewhere around about maybe, post the GFC, I saw my complete portfolio collapse by about maybe 40% in 2008. I'd just been through a divorce. It wasn't messy, it was very amicable. It sort of worked out, all the numbers worked out very well for both parties, considering, the time together and everything what we did together. Not going to go into that. Whatever you do in your legal system is up to you, and how that works out for you, you can make those decisions yourself. I'm not a solicitor, lawyer, anybody to advise on anybody on anything. I live in Thailand and I'm a retiree, and every day goes by and I feel like I'm losing more and more of the plot, because I no longer exercise so many of the neurons as I used to. Which is, another thing that keeps on coming up in conversations and daily occurrences these days as well. But aside from that, I was making that decision, and I watched the Australian dollar climb to 32 baht to the dollar in 2012. I said, yeah, well, my portfolio's growing, this is growing, that's growing, everything's coming together. It looks like Thailand's going to be the place. I'm going to be able to sort of really sit back and just really enjoy my senior years and expend, as I said, I've already met Chanya and we're working on building that relationship, so it just is all coming together. 2016 came around, and I got poked and prodded a couple of times by the establishment, which was, you work your butt off for these large corporations. I had 15 years, man. You give 15 years of your time to an organisation. Now, I'm not ranting about that. I'm just saying, this is where industry is wrong. I dedicated my life to making their business better, because I had the knowledge to build the systems that they needed to make it grow. I didn't want any sort of feathers in my hat or anything. I just wanted to get it paid fairly, do a fair day's work, a fair day's pay. Well, in 2016, we'd spent, weekends over the previous financial year, doing co-locations and things like that with zero impact to the business, so the amount of money we saved for the business didn't even come back in the normal sort of annual bonuses. Now, normally, it's not. It was normally about half a month's salary for an annual bonus. It's not big, $4,000 is $4,000. So what do you, but it didn't happen. Oh, okay. That's life, isn't it? Just, it's an American company owns us now. That's what we're going to do. So, okay. So then, what else? Come to my holidays in 2016. I was having my little break end of July. I normally sort of run over to see Chanya just during the rainy season, because the airfares were always low at that time. Yeah, okay, jumped in there and come over here, and I'm sort of 2 weeks just relaxing, thinking about the fact that I just got passed up for my CPI adjustment, because, we had a 1.3% CPI over that year, and the tradition of the Australian arm of that business was always to do a CPI adjustment. Okay, I was at the top of the Hayes salary tier bracket for my role, so I never went head hunting or looking for a better, more lucrative opportunity. I just wanted to be respected, in the industry, in the organisation, the people we dealt with. That's a little bit of respect goes a long way. But, I can over here and we're going, no bonus, no pay rise. Shit, they don't want me here. Okay, fine. I just drafted a summary letter. Might as well not stay where I'm not wanted. That's what you think, isn't it? That's what you do. I did the same thing. So one thing led to another. Okay, come back. There it is. I think I think it's time for me to go. And Michael says, yeah. I understand that. I understand the fact that, you've been telling him for 2 to 3 years that you want to go to Thailand. You offered to actually move to Thailand when we had an office over here, right? And actually do my vocation from this office at a reduced salary even. But no, they wanted to close that office because whatever, corporate decisions. But anyway, I'm not trying to rant. I'm just trying to give you a headspace of where I was. I made a few rash decisions, but I said, stuff it. I've got this money, I got this money, I got this happening, this happening, this happening, this happening. Stuff it. I don't need to do this shit anymore. I'll go and make my own way in the world and try to investigate what the world has to offer, see what Thailand really is all about. And, I wasn't even going to do a YouTube channel. I was going to make a few videos, but on one of the parting things, Michael says, well, you're going to be over there. Why don't you make something of that YouTube channel you started 10 years ago, which has like 50 videos on it or 40 videos on it? And I go, maybe, who knows? But well, that's where I started. I made some decisions. In hindsight, geez, if we'd known what was going on today in the world, like we've got 3 conflicts around the world which are on a tipping point of a world war. Right? The most recent one is Israel, and okay, I don't know which way to look on that one. God, that Middle East section is just it's a crazy place. I would never want to live there to start with. But aside from that, they're lobbing missiles. I reckon within a week there's going to be a big missile that's going to start the whole thing over, and that's it. Fucking bye-bye. The world is over. Anyway, I know I've had a bit of a sort of rant bit there. I'll put a time mark on past the rant. We're going to go and have lunch shortly as soon as she's out of the thing, and we'll give a few more bits and pieces like comparisons of then and now. This is probably what you're looking at and coming sort of, to help you make that decision of why you would think Thailand might be the place for you to stay. Anyway, stick around. Are you ready yet?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
What is this? What happened here? You have a bomb. A bomb in the room.
This is my room. Go away.
Okay, to be fair, this is my room, okay? It's not much better. Yeah, but I will be doing something about cleaning my room up in the next week or two, and that's a definite because, well, I've got an idea for my YouTube gaming channel about some content there that maybe it does exist, but I haven't seen it through the normal content I see. So I think I've got a little niche area that I can develop in that. It's the gaming content, so there's a link down below for my gaming page. You can always subscribe to that if you want, or just follow, or whatever you do. Anyway, I'm just still waiting for her to get out of the damn bathroom, bedroom, whatever. Okay, so now that we've established the background of where my headspace was in 2016 when I just basically pulled the trigger, you've got to look at the circumstances I had, right? I pretty much grown up my life as a single income family, right, after I moved out of home. That was, when I shacked up with my ex-wife, again, fairly soon after we shacked up, she fell pregnant. So within 2 years, she was no longer working and she was bringing up our children, or child anyway. I was living in Sydney on a, reasonable sort of salary, but I wouldn't sort of say it was exorbitant, as a single income family with a wife and a child in suburbia. It's expensive. Then of course when we got divorced and I got to experience 8 years of my life, well, over that 8 years, watching my investments grow and watching me put money away in the bank rather than see it just disappear down on a credit card bill, how those sort of things, single income, single person, it goes a long way. It's a no-brainer when you start to think about that. But of course, what do we have? I had a choice, right? I'd been dating Chanya for like 7 years, and I was really enjoying her company. We're, two people of the same mind, and she's good to look at too, so I'm not going to complain about that. But yeah, if she moved to Australia with me, I would again been back in that single income paradigm, because it would have been me working, because she would have never been able to get work in Australia. Even through marriage, right? The first thing they would look at would be, transgender, Thai. The work opportunities outside the sex industry for would just not exist. Get the whole idea. It's just, you just got to do that sort of mental arithmetic. Okay, well, how about I come to Thailand and help her build her career? And that's what I've done all my life. I've just helped other people, and I enjoy doing that. I would probably still make that same decision, but I would make sure I probably have a bit more money behind me now, given the current sort of circumstances that we're currently seeing around the world. Maybe even a bomb shelter too, if you know what I mean.
Where we go, darling, today?
Where are we going today? You said you wanted to go to the big shop, the mall. Which one? The
Central.
Central Salia. Yes,
Central Salia, yeah.
And why are we going there? Because you.
Don't say that.
She tells me last night.
Don't say that.
And she gets her powder out. She gets the powder out.
Yeah.
And somebody in her group said, "Oh, you not have Mac?" Oh my gosh, no so.
Yeah.
So you still have to play
But
the game.
I don't think about this because I don't care for people to bully me, because every week I just go only Big C and go the run somewhere with a boyfriend. I don't care. But when I go some group, some girl, but she just
it's a one-upmanship guy.
bully me a little bit, but I don't care.
You don't care.
Because I happy in my life with Warren and family and the people.
Yeah, and I keep going. And I was going to say, just finishing off that whole idea, then and now. Yeah, I had my choice. Now you're going to press the back one. Yeah, I had the choice back then. Why would I come here? Well, basically, number one reason, she would not have survived in Australia, and as a couple on a single income family, we would not have survived as a couple in Sydney, Australia. We might have done somewhere else, like Adelaide, somewhere else, but then I'd have to change jobs and everything. One led thing that to another. Again, the same paradigm is now, right? Could we move to Australia? Well, I could get a job again. I could probably get a job, probably six-figure income salary type job for my skill set. I've got contacts, but I haven't looked there. I don't want to go back to Australia because right now to live in Sydney, you need two incomes, at least $100,000 a year, right, before you can even think about owning a home. We've got a home here. My biggest concern right now is, can I get $170,000 out of Australia to actually just pay off the mortgage? That's my biggest concern right now, because my thoughts 8 years ago or 9 years ago was, well, how about I just rent for the rest of my life? That'll do me. But right now, with the upturn in the industry and the economic climate, well, I'd rather pay 3,500,000 baht now than over the next 20 years pay 8 million, which is over the length of the term of the loan, paying it off. It's just a no-brainer to me. I've lost a good amount of money over the last year. Yes, I can see that, darling. So yeah, same thing still applies right now. So that's where we'll just leave that question. But there are a lot of other mitigating circumstances we need to talk about, and the visa trap. What visa do you choose? Well, you've got a few choices out there now, and I'm not going to go and do it. I'm still on an OA, right? If I could think of an easy way to change to an O, I'd probably do it. But I had less choice back then. I got more choice now, and of course, the financial ramifications of decisions would also be something that you'd have to look at there. Right. When I was 2016, I think the elite visa had only just been introduced. Right. I actually made inroads to the elite visa people in 2018. I said, is it possible for me to go from my OA visa here in Thailand to an elite visa? Here, I've got $1 million baht. I can do the 20-year plan. They didn't even want to talk to me. I got one curt email, no follow-up, could not get them engaged whatsoever. I hear all these people raving about how good these people are. My experience is flat out, it's a scam, right? That's the way I feel about it, because I'm already here. All they want is the money, right? I don't need the visa because I'm in Thailand. Where's this thinking come from? Anyway, yeah, I would have probably chosen that visa if it was available, or if I even knew about it. That was me not being fully prepared and waiting for this motorcycle who's blocked the road. You'll love that, don't you?
Come to Sentan again.
Come to Sentan again.
Okay.
Now she's getting tongue-tied doing video. I'm always
And no idea today to eating what you eat.
I think Japan food.
Japan again.
When last time for Japan?
Next week you eat
Last
Japan. Next time when you go Sentan, you bring me.
That was 2 weeks ago, darling.
นั่นแหละ long time.
That's 2 weeks ago. Well, you can have Japan food once every 2 weeks, sure.
You from Thailand, why you like Japan food, darling? Tummy you like.
Tummy, not spicy.
Tummy you like.
Not spicy, yeah.
Yes, I know
I
now.
like spicy food, but spicy food not like me.
Understand
ผม
now.
ชอบอาหารเผ็ดไม่
ไม่ชอบผม
So honey darling, you want to eat first?
Really hungry.
Okay, where we go? Upstairs or around here? เลี้ยวขวา Japanese around here? No.
Just looking this one, you see.
Oh, you food court? Not Japan food.
อยากกินเจแปน
I don't know, do you people also get those cravings for a particular type of food here in Thailand or anywhere where you are? Okay. I like Italian food. I like Japanese food, but I only like Japanese food that's cooked. I'm very fussy. But, but there's plenty of places to choose. I know we saw one now last time we were here. We went and chose that one. But yeah, getting back onto like the choices now. There's bread. Yes, bread smells good. That's one of those smells that Thailand's just starting to fall into that bread smell. I don't know. It's not been a big thing. Come on, bang. It's been classified. Bread is just like a snack food. It's not really a food. It's not, it's not substantial enough to be classified as something you would make instead of food. It's always been, come on, bang. It's the way Thailand is. But they're getting onto the fact that some breads are really quite nice. They're getting onto the whole, like you're going to have to make a decision, right? The decision you're going to make is the fact that have you got enough money to make it through to the end of your life? Here's the catch, as I said on the previous videos, with the advancements in medical science, that end could be when you're 100, 110, 120, right? Have you got that plan? I didn't. Right, that's my biggest worry right now. But again, would it have made my choice change? Well, I would have had more socked away over that 8 years. I would have sold my house in Australia and probably reinvested that somewhere else rather than sort of, put it in the investments I did do. Things change. You always make the changes, and it comes down to a risk. How much risk are you willing to take on that gamble? You're changing your life, right? If you're not ready to take risks, don't change. Anyway, I think we saw this one last time, no? That's got beef. Also been getting a lot of news reports about the falling numbers of tourists and everything else at this time of the year. And I reckon I've not seen this shopping centre this barren for people in quite some time. And this is not a tourist centre. This is Thaiville. Thais aren't coming out anymore. Okay, we've looked at the menu here. We've seen something on there we might get. On the table, Tokyo Cafe. Of course, we're the only person here. It is only lunchtime, but all good. Time for lunch. I was just looking at how much time I've spent on this already. And I've got, 4, 5, 6, like 3 more points to get through, and like we're already 7 or 18 minutes into the video. Other country options, yes. Right now, yes, the other countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and even Indonesia and places, that whole area. There's a lot of options coming up now as where you might consider putting your money. And quite frankly, they are cheaper. And I'm not going to pull the gun on that one. They're cheaper to stay there. It's the way it is. We have got a little bit more of an advanced technology society here in Thailand, which is something that I really appreciate. The whole 1 gigabit internet speed connections is something that I really do like, and sways my decision to the almost dial-up speeds I've been hearing people getting from time to time in the Philippines. Well, it's a no-brainer for me. That doesn't make sense. Why would I cut off my nose to spite my face, if you know what I mean? But that's it. You look at the infrastructure. In the last 10 years, I've seen so much infrastructure changes here in Thailand. I haven't seen that sort of building in Australia any time, but again, we don't have the same sort of population densities here to really sort of do that sort of expansions into infrastructure. But I've seen electric buses, the new trains and everything else that are going through Bangkok. Yeah, you won't see them in the country areas, but they're talking about monorails in Pattaya and places like Hoi An, different sort of public transports. They're all coming up there. I'm always constantly sort of comparing Thailand now to, the 70s, 80s period when I was growing up. The sort of infrastructure there was about the infrastructure we got now. Except we got really fast internet, so it really works for me.
1, 2
Quick, I can't hold this.
one more
I can't hold this pose all day.
1 more เร็ว
Okay, see. Gotta play the game. It's all fun. Anyway, look, we've only just ordered, and I don't want to keep you guys too long. So it's Japanese today. I've got pork and black olives with bacon. Look, you've just seen us eat 1,000 times before. Come on, seriously. In closing, you're going to have to make some serious, thought processes to. Are you going to stay in Thailand? I can't really go anywhere else because, as I said, we are bound to our commitments here now. Those commitments have been thought through 1,000 times over. I'm happy with those commitments. I've made adjustments in my long-term plans. I'm saving myself 5 million baht over a period of 20 years would be one of those. Got some other ideas. I said we've readjusted our budgets. We don't go out so much. As she builds her business, I said, as her business builds up more, she might start shouting me out to lunch too. Yes. Yep. You enjoy working for the makeup. You enjoy the makeup work.
I enjoy everything.
You enjoy everything.
I enjoy everything from my life now. I happy whenever, happy and have friends, happy in house, happy in stay with you.
Yeah. That's the way it
But
is.
sometimes I jealous you go somewhere.
When you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Yes.
Happy.
Anyway, look, again, I'm going to just wrap it up here. A special thank you again to our Patreons and members. Wouldn't do this without you guys. As you can see, there's more videos coming up for you guys now because, as I said, I'm making a commitment to give you some extra stuff that might be interesting. It's nothing really sensational, but more about the real ins and outs of living in Thailand. Anyway, aside from that, we're going to wrap it up here, so check out these other videos and we'll catch you next time.